Today I wanted to share with you a story about when my kids were younger. At one point in our lives, we had 5 kids under the age of 6, if you can believe that. And we didn't plan it. It was because we had a set of surprise twins that showed up. And we loved them, but we were a little surprised. And if you can imagine, it proved for some chaotic moments. And one of those chaotic moments was always breakfast in the morning. I would set my kids around the table. I would get their cereal and their milk in bowls, and without fail, somebody would spill it all over the ground. Well, one morning in particular, I was already tired. I woke up tired. And so I set them around the table. I got their cereal, their milk, their bowls, their spoons. I got everybody set up, and then I looked them in the eyes and I said, please, I have one request, just one. If you could please not spill your cereal this morning, that would be awesome. And I remember turning around to walk out of the room, and I'd gotten maybe 2 steps. And then there was that familiar crash. And I thought, no, you've got to be kidding me. Is this some kind of a sick joke? Am I getting punked? It was just one of those moments that I was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And before I could yell at anybody, because I didn't want to, I just told everyone to get off their chairs and get out of the kitchen right now. So they all climbed off their chairs, laughing the whole way. And I remember grabbing a rag. And once you get down to the ground and realize that the liquid is not stayed in one spot, that would be nice if it did, but it doesn't. It's everywhere. It was on the entertainment center. It was on the TV. It was on the carpet. It was on the carpet, on the walls. It was on the chairs. It was everywhere. And I remember grabbing my rag and I just started to wipe. And as I was wiping, I began to talk to myself, because that's what moms do, because they don't have a lot of people to talk to. And I said, Heavenly Father, is this seriously what I said I would do when I came to this earth? Is this really my job the rest of my life? I can't imagine that this is what I have to do my whole life. And as I was talking to myself, I heard this little voice, and I turned to see that my son Porter had not left the room. And I said, oh, excuse me, what did you say? And him being the smart boy he was, he said, no, never mind, Mom. He's a smart kid, right? But I didn't care. I didn't care that he was 5. I was in the mood for an argument and a debate that I could win. And so I said, no, Porter, you tell me right now, what did you say? And he said, at least you're serving your Heavenly Father. And this is me. I mean, there was not one response that there was no comebacks. And before I could say anything else, he jumped off his chair, he put his bowl in the sink, and he said, Mom, you're doing what you were put here on the earth to do. And with that, he walked out of the room. I mean, there was no argument to be made. There was no debating. He had won. And because of this comment from a 5-year-old boy, I have thought about this so many times in my life. And I've asked myself this question: am I doing what I was put here on the earth to do? Every one of us has a foreordained mission, meaning each of us is unique and special. We've been blessed with certain gifts, abilities, and talents. We have great responsibilities and certain things that we told Heavenly Father we would do when we came to this earth, that we would each fulfill our foreordained mission. How do I know this? Because in the Pearl of Great Price in Abraham chapter 3, it talks about how Abraham talked with the Lord face to face. He was shown the creations of the world and all the intelligences, all of us. And then in verse 22, it goes on to say, now the Lord had shown unto me, Abraham, the intelligences that were organized before the world was, and among all these were the noble and great ones. Those intelligences, those noble and great ones were you. And then he says, and God saw these souls that they were good, and he stood in the midst of them, and he said, these I will make my rulers. For he stood among those that were spirits, and he saw that they were good, and he said unto me, Abraham, thou art one of them. Thou wast chosen before thou wast born. You were chosen before you were born. And you were sent to this earth at this time and in this day when the world is in so much commotion, when there is so much confusion and so much distraction. And to be honest, when there's just a lot of garbage out there, God needs you now more than ever to do the most good and to do what you were sent here on the earth to do. I love this quote by William Barclay. He was a Scottish author and minister, and he said something so powerful when he said, there are 2 important days in a person's life: the day they are born and the day they find out why. There is power in knowing why you are here. And how do we find out? We ask God. And when we ask him, I promise you, he will open up windows to your vision. He will open up the way for you, and he will tell you exactly what you were put here on the earth to do. Shama-Llama.